Hi, CJ.
Great to see you.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really great. We have our first cold day of the winter here in New York, but other than it getting a little chilly, everything is really great.
I was wondering how much you charge an hour because I was gonna, book a few minutes of your time for some questions that I have.
Well, if you have some cases to discuss, then my answer is perfect. I don't charge anything for consultations. So any
Oh.
seller anywhere on the planet can call and I'll go over the case with them or a member of the team, and we don't charge anything at all for the consultations. And if you need to hire us, we can either charge a flat fee or we can also charge by the hour. By the hour tends to cost less, and it's really good for larger sellers. And our flat fees are generally the same or less than a non-lawyer consultant. So it depends on what the issue is.
Okay. So I understand you're working mostly with suspensions and Amazon seller related legal issues. Is that right?
Yeah, about half the practice has to do with suspensions, including legal and non-legal issues. And the other half has to do with protecting and building private label brands and also taking Amazon to arbitration when it refuses to resolve things amicably.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna share my screen with you. I will ask you something. See, on Facebook, I joined many seller groups that are Amazon related, and I'm seeing a trend here talking about some strange thing, like recently suspended Amazon sellers stifled by email glitch as holidays loom. Something about emails and feedback with tools not being so do you know about this issue? Like what's happening these days? Like everyone is getting suspended for sending emails, is that it?
Yeah, they are. It was certainly a glitch. It was pretty well reported. Our sellers really haven't experienced it as much as other as sellers who were using other firms to help them out. I also love that you have Callie's group on there in Australia. She is a tremendous thought leader in the field, so Callie rocks. So we definitely saw an increase in the suspensions, but this time of year, suspensions increase across the board. It's Q4. Amazon's coming down hard on sellers. Also, Amazon's algorithms and their people are working, double time to make sure they have warehouse space, that consumers are getting the right products. So this type of year suspensions increase anyway, and we saw a little bit of an increase by the glitch, but most of our sellers really weren't all that affected by it.
So what glitch was that? Like Amazon like suspended some people and they had no sales for a while by mistake?
You know what? I don't really know the cause of the suspension, but there was certainly something going on with the emails where either they were not being answered, being routed to the wrong place, or sparking account reviews. That's internal Amazon stuff. And if anyone goes on your show and starts telling you they know exactly what happened, they are absolutely wrong. But again, what I read about was certainly worse than what our clients experienced.
Hmm. So to lift the suspension, was it automatically lifted or you needed to do something about it?
Well, every time a client hires us, we immediately get a plan of action out the door, or we get an intellectual property right complaint withdrawn. Whatever the issue is, we address it. We generally don't sit and wait to see what happens. So I don't know whether people are getting reinstated by doing nothing. We act pretty quickly. So I don't know if nothing works. I know what we do works.
Hmm. Could you tell me a little bit of insights maybe? I'm imagining the process work like this. So first I would get suspended maybe on ASIN level, and then I try to remedy that myself, right? Send some, emails to Amazon. And then I've seen, because I read a lot of posts in groups, that people get an email sort of like, this is your last email. Please do not ever respond again. We will not change our opinion. So what would you advise? Is that a bad thing that I've done, that I tried to do something myself and I didn't know what I was doing? Or is there a way to still get them help me after that email?
Well, it's kind of a little bit of both, okay? First of all, every seller who's listening to this or watching this, you can totally write your own plan of action. I suggest you go to our website, look at our books you can download for free, and have a little bit of knowledge before you send in your first plan of action. But you can absolutely do it yourself. And then to answer the second question, like when you get that email that says we may not read anything else you send, go jump in a lake. those usually don't stop an account from getting reinstated. You just need to write to another team, come up with some new arguments. And we've even reinstated accounts that were like 5+ years old. So that email is not the end of the rope. So there's always like higher levels within Amazon you can go to.
And in the end, you email Jeff Bezos, right?
That is one of the last resorts. There's also a legal team you can go to. You can also threaten to take Amazon to arbitration. You can take Amazon to arbitration. You know, there are a lot of ways of skinning the cat. There's a lot of ways of getting your account back. There are a lot of ways to get your money and your inventory back. It really is a case-by-case thing. What we want to make sure is that if you're writing your own plan of action, or you're using some consultant who doesn't ever engage in the end game, like in arbitration, you got to make sure they're not writing anything that hurts your interest later on.
Could you tell me more specifically what mistakes could I make, like to write, like what is wrong? Like, you know, I should be careful.
The most common problem that we see when either someone uses a consultant or they write it themselves is they immediately admit to breaking Amazon's policies, to breaking your contract, to violating the TOS. And then once you admit to doing that, you're kind of at Amazon's mercy, right? And you know, sometimes it works and it'll get you reinstated, but other times if you have to go to Bezos or you have to go to arbitration, you have to go to the legal team, you know, you've admitted to breaking the contract. So if they say no, you're kind of screwed. If they say yes, it worked out great. So we generally do not admit to wrongdoing unless one, you really did it and Amazon knows about it, or you've kind of decided not to take the next step, like go to arbitration. So this is your last ditch effort. But other than those scenarios, I don't recommend you ever admit to doing something that violates your contract.
So what's like the most painful type of suspension that hits and that is hard for myself to recover from? Like what's the type that definitely will go, I would go to you for that?
Listen, review manipulation and forged documents are super difficult to win. So you don't ever have to make up a fake document, okay? You don't ever have to make up fake reviews. Your reviews will come organically. But those are the most painful, hard to win cases, I think, is when Amazon just totally busts you, you know, submitting fake documents.
Oh my God, I'm so guilty. I almost submitted because I was trying to get ungated in the health and beauty category. And basically they asked me for 3 invoices. So, you know, I submitted the 3 invoices. Then there were Chinese invoices. Apparently, when I Googled on Facebook groups, they were not accepted. Okay. Then you have to buy from some wholesale website in United States. I don't even live there. I just shipped it to some library donation center just to get those invoices. Apparently, these receipts were not good enough either. You're supposed to have some kind of other form. I almost like, they say, oh, they don't say invoices, they say receipt. So I almost went to like Photoshop and just replaced the receipt with the invoice, just have it there, you know, I spent the money, I had it. Oh, I would be almost guilty of that one.
All right, well, listen, most sellers, okay, have some documentation about where they got their products from, right? It could be your airline tickets, your hotel receipts, pictures when you were on the trip, your credit card, how you paid, if you transferred your money from, you know, like USD to RMB before you got there, pictures, anything at all. And if you're gonna I have nothing against photoshopping things to submit to Amazon. I just don't want you getting caught. So if you do make up your own documents, you know, print them out and like scan them so at least it's a new PDF. Because Amazon has a lot of smart people working for it that can identify when you're photoshopping. And also, I believe, they haven't admitted it, but I 100% believe that Amazon keeps a database of all the different sources of invoices that are submitted so they can compare what you're submitting to what 20 other sellers sent in. They deny it, but I think they still maintain this database.
Okay, that would make sense because then I guess if I never seen my supplier's invoice, I asked them to send it. It was like Excel spreadsheet in Excel format, not even a PDF. So I basically have to print it myself. That's their invoice. You know, it's not really suitable, and this is
Well,
hard.
even with that, okay, you then will have the emails to them saying, please give me an invoice, please give me an invoice. They'll send you back an Excel spreadsheet. You write back to them again, say, Amazon doesn't like Excel spreadsheets. Can you give me a formal invoice? And you can use all of that and create a timeline and send the emails along with the spreadsheet if you have to, right? So you have documentation of what you're trying to do. You can even pull up how you found that distributor, right? Like maybe you did research online. You can show the chain of events. Or you've traveled. We've met in person in Hong Kong and I think in Prague, right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
submit whatever documents you have. All you're trying to do, I know I'm talking a lot. All you're trying to do is to persuade the people in India, right, to buy what you're selling, which are your invoices or your records. That's all you're trying to do. It's just persuasion.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but still it's so complicated. I don't know, give me some other tips. Like when I'm writing to them, let's say something happened out of my control. I don't know, some of those suspensions happen like without you even, realizing that you did anything wrong. So what's like the first thing to say? Is there always this plan of action needed? Like what's that plan of action? It's like, I will be good, I promise, number one. What's that plan of action type of thing?
Okay, every plan of action should have like 3 sections, every single one. Root cause, immediate corrective action, and changes to your business, okay? This is what Amazon staff in India is trained to look for. Also, you should always argue something about Amazon's leadership principles. After I saw you last, I did a side trip to India, right? And I went outside Amazon's offices in Hyderabad, and I just would walk up to them as they're taking their cigarette breaks and say, hey, do you work for Amazon? You do? What do you do? How are you trained? What do you look for? Right? And I did this for 3 days, okay?
Wow, nice.
And these people are trained on the leadership principles. They believe in Amazon. They want to do a good job. So you work in the leadership principles, make your plan of action short and persuasive, and then let it ride. They're trying to do a good job. They're trying to do the right thing for sellers all over the world. And they're real live people. And I met dozens of them.
But specifically, more exactly, like, okay, so the problem, and then, so what exactly do you write? Like, remedy, how you gonna remedy situation? So what do you write there? I'm gonna send new items and replace all of those, or like, what do I do?
It really depends on what the issue is, okay? Like, let's say you got a used sold as new, okay? But you know that you were only selling brand new products, but for some reason, some consumer made this complaint. So what is the root cause? The root cause could be that the packaging doesn't match what's in a brick and mortar store. It could be that the packaging was stored in sunlight, so it made the colors fade a bit. It could be that it got damaged in shipping or got damaged at the FBA warehouse. We also sent our team to an FBA warehouse tour. We got a whole bunch of inside information there.
Oh, good
So you want to identify with your product what you think that caused the problem. What did the consumer see that led them to think your product wasn't brand new? Maybe it had been returned and went back into inventory. So you got to kind of figure it out and use Amazon's language. We did a deep dive investigation, and this is what we think the problem is, right? So that's your root cause. The next section is immediate corrective action. Every single time, just refund the customer immediately. Apologize, promise them you're going to give them a new one for free, make the consumer as happy as possible. And then the changes to your business might be, we're going to, every time before we ship to FBA, we're going to compare the products to a brick and mortar store to make sure they match. We are now storing the products outside of direct sunlight, okay? We are now sending them in with better packaging, peanut or air pockets, whatever you're using. And you really want to make sure everything sort of matches and makes sense. And all you're doing, okay, is trying to persuade that man or woman in India to click reinstate. That's it. So you got to find arguments that you think are going to be persuasive.
So do you write a lot or be like to the point? And
Yeah, to the point. Absolutely to the point. We know they have quotas, okay? We know from cross-examining Amazon's witnesses, and when I was talking to them in India, they have quotas. I don't know what the quotas are, but we know they exist. So you got to be concise, to the point, and then also at the same time, persuasive.
Okay. So basically, everyone who comes to you is about suspensions, or is there any other type of issues that you do, like, I don't know, trademark registration, anything like that?
100%. We have a whole practice built around Amazon sellers developing their own private label brand. So we don't actually recommend, we used to do a lot of trademarks. Now we're recommending sellers just go to Amazon's IP Accelerator program. They charge a lot more than we do, but Amazon will put you right into brand registry. So we recommend use IP Accelerator, but then we can monitor your listings, we can build warranties for you, we can protect you from other sellers jumping on your listings, monitor and protect your sales. Yeah, that's it. That's Amazon's IP Accelerator program. It's about a month old.
Okay, so what's it about?
All right. Amazon has lawyers that signed up to work with it, like Indigo Paisley and some other firms. These firms are somehow in bed with Amazon, but if you use them to apply for your trademark, Amazon will automatically give you brand registry. Where if you use us, we have to get the trademark first, which is going to take 9 months. So
yes,
they're charging like 3 or 4 times normal rates to get trademarks. But who cares, because you're getting brand registry right away.
Yeah, and then you get the A+ content, all the stuff. So high level.
100%. So it's worth it. And I know I'm telling people not to hire us. This is better for the long haul because you'll get brand registry right away and all the other benefits.
So right away means like the same time that your trademark is submitted. Actually, they don't wait even for registration to complete, right?
Correct. That's what the program says. You use one of their law firms, they do the application, Amazon gives you brand registry. At least that's the way it's supposed to work.
Okay, this is great. Except there's a little more costly, I guess. For mine, I paid, I think, about maybe $500 for registering and another $200 for the fees over there on that site. Something like $700 in total.
Yeah, most law firms in the United States will charge anywhere from like $750 to $1,500. What you need to make sure is that somebody is doing a good search. But if using the IP Accelerator program, they should be doing a search anyway. And there are ways you can do it yourself. You can really just Google whatever trademark name you're trying to use. You can look on Amazon itself. You can go to uspto.gov, which is our government's website for trademarks. The search is important so you don't dump a ton of money into a mark that's not going to get approved. But again, the guys at IP Accelerator, those lawyers, they should know how to do this. It's pretty easy to do.
Interesting that you recommend another service, but there's this nice jump up 9 month savings instead of waiting for all the brand registry benefits.
Yes, listen, we're here to help sellers. So this program is certainly better than what we can offer, because you're getting brand registry 9 months faster.
Cool. Okay. So how long have you been in this, and why did you become Amazon lawyer? Have you been an Amazon seller yourself?
No, I've never sold products on Amazon, and we don't allow anyone who works at the firm to sell on Amazon because we have so much confidential information. It's kind of a long story. You really want to hear how I got into this?
Yeah, tell me. I want to know.
So, I guess now it'll be nine years in May when I was getting divorced, right? And so I'm going through the divorce process, and I was a trial lawyer. And so I didn't have any trials during the divorce because I didn't want to make a ton of money and bring it into a divorce, right? So the divorce took like 6 months to get done. And I finally make a deal with my ex-wife. I go back to court, and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go to trial. And the judges stopped trying cases because they didn't get a raise for 12 years, right? So they just stopped. So all of a sudden I had to pay my ex-wife boatloads and boatloads of money. And my business was kind of dead. And one of the clients where I wrote the contract to buy an Amazon business reached out to me. And he says, hey, that business I bought, the account got suspended. You should look into this. It's really a good area. And there was like nobody doing it that he trusted. So I looked into it. There were two people, one guy out of Boston, one woman out of Texas, who were doing this as sort of a living. But one was a former Amazon guy who was kind of creepy. The other was a former seller who continued to sell. And neither one of them knew anything about intellectual property law. So I looked at it. I'm like, I love working with entrepreneurs. It was a good time in my life to start a pivot. And made the change, studied for about a year and a half, hired a website guy who happened to be a former seller. And fast forward now to 2019, outside this door, we have 26 people here in New York. We have 6 people in China. We usually have someone in Melbourne working full time. We've written 6 books. One of the books is on its 2nd edition. And I love it, man. I freaking love what I do. I love helping sellers. I love dealing with entrepreneurs. They're as crazy as I am. They work as hard as I do, or harder. And I get to meet people like you all over the world, meeting Amazon sellers. So that's how I got into it.
Oh, sounds great. You know, before I let you go, your expensive hours.
Stop. Wait a second. Stop. My time is no more than the non-lawyers out there, and we are 1,000 times better. Okay. Also,
okay.
Our rates are fair, and since this is all that we do, we are really efficient at it. Okay. We're the best. We are competitive in terms of fees, even though we're way more qualified because we have lawyers here. Okay. And we're not expensive, and we are the best. You get more than what you pay for with us.
Yeah, I've heard many good things about you guys. That's why I called you. So Amazon Sellers Lawyer, is that the domain?
That's the domain, AmazonSellersLawyer.com. Sellers is plural, lawyer is singular. It should pop up any second now.
You mentioned there's some free forms, you know, if I get suspended, that you have like some resources.
Yeah, okay.
Grab?
Our website is the largest depository of free information for Amazon sellers anywhere on earth. Okay? And if you click books, okay, open up any of those, all 6 books, all of them are available for free download. All of them.
Nice.
I totally believe in giving information away, empowering sellers. Okay, so we wrote the books and we just give them away. So you have a sample, so you know what to argue, what to write. You can see what Amazon argued in hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits. You can see trademark law for sellers, copyright law for sellers. If you want to protect yourself in China, we have a book about Chinese IP law for sellers. And anyone can download it. We totally believe in helping sellers help themselves, and other sellers want to hire us to handle it for them.
It's nice background that you chose, like Matrix. I like Matrix very much. The numbers, yeah. You know those numbers just like falling down, just like in the Matrix movie. I'm just amazing myself.
It is about data. So we have the data that teaches sellers how to get their accounts back, how to get their listings back, and we probably help more sellers every day for free than our nearest competition gets paid to help. We're totally here for sellers.
Wow, it's a lot of resources on the site that I see. Well, great. Thank you very much. I'll check that out after our chat. Especially, I want to grab that book that I was just looking at, Amazon Suspensions. I'll just take a look at that one. I saw also Chinese IP law that hit my eye. That was interesting. So I guess there's a lot of interesting stuff out here.
We try. We have about 600 videos on YouTube. And if you don't mind, but I would like to plug something before we wrap up.
Go ahead.
All right. So the people that are watching this in the United States, and I think also, overseas, if you're selling on Amazon, you're probably shopping on Amazon, right? And Amazon has this program called Amazon Smiles, where when you sign on through Amazon Smiles, you get to pick a charity. and Amazon will donate a portion of your sale, a portion of your purchase to the charity of your choice. My buddy and his wife lost their son Ty to brain cancer a few years ago, and they created an incredible foundation. So use Amazon Smile. It doesn't cost the buyer anything, doesn't cost the seller anything. And if you don't have a charity, please pick the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. They turned like awful tragedy into this incredible foundation to try and find better treatments and a cure, God willing, a cure for pediatric cancers. So Ty, T-Y, Lewis Campbell Foundation.
Oh, that sounds very nice. Thank you. Yeah, you know, every one of us, we always think, okay, I should be the better person to donate, to do something. But what do we do, you know? At the cash, if asked, would you like to donate $1 to some charity? We're like, no. You know, it's just like, so I guess that is the way that we could all give back, just round up the cents or in the Amazon's program.
Also, I always say no also. If I'm at the supermarket, I don't know where the money's going, you know? With this foundation, I personally know where the money's going. I personally know who's running it. And it's just tremendous. It's just a tremendous foundation. So Ty, T-Y, Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, thanks for coming to my show today, CJ. Definitely very useful, very interesting practical tips. We may chat with you again sometime when I book your expensive hour. I keep repeating expensive, saying it's not expensive.
You're killing me. I'm telling you, for you and all your listeners, free. I can't pay you to talk to me, right? But I will not charge for any consultation ever.
All right, I understand. The reason I keep saying is expensive because I find it's so awesome that you said yes to talk to me, even though I don't have to pay for that anything. I get all my questions answered, and you said that you do that to every seller. This is just amazing.
Every seller. If you look at our reviews, okay, if you go on Google, look at our reviews, or Facebook and look at our reviews, you're going to see hundreds and hundreds of reviews where people called in, and my team and I just took their phone calls Saturdays, Sundays, holidays. We are here for sellers. We don't charge for consultations. And if we can help you help yourself, we will. And if you need to hire us, we're available to you. And our rates are the same or often less than the non-lawyers out there.
Great. Well, thank you so much, CJ Rosenbaum, right? Were you born in Israel by any chance?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't born in Israel.
Because I saw you at Sellerfest Israel, right? You came to talk?
Yeah, I loved it. Tel Aviv was incredible. Went up to Caesarea, which is really cool. Checked out Mossad. I love visiting Israel. That was incredible.
Yeah, I loved it so much as well. Well, I guess I won't hold you up for any longer. Very nice chatting.
You have to invite me to Turkey. If there's an event, if there's a meetup of Amazon sellers, I don't care if it's in Istanbul or outside the city, call me up and I will be there.
Actually, there will be one soon. Okay, I'll keep you updated on that. All right. Thanks so much, CJ. Take care.
Great to be with you.
Bye.